Aloha siblings. In this video I'm going to be playing a game that's called Kdiamonds. It's one of those match three things and they fall into place kind of deal. I like it not only because those you can see behind me, there's these little pictures of gems which I find really quite appealing, and something about them really mesmerizes me. And also the main reason I'm playing this tonight, or today, yeah, is that I like the sound that it makes as you play it. Well, you'll hear when it comes. It's a sound like when the gems fall. It makes this sort of rattling sound that I find very, very pleasing and very tingly. So maybe you guys will find it as well. Some of you may have seen it already. I have played this on live stream at least once. Yeah. So. But, well, I guess I might as well mention the live stream now that I have mentioned it, right? I do live streams every Saturday night as of, well, this is being recorded in 2026, so I'm doing live streams every Saturday, 8 p.m. California time. Yeah, that's more or less for the live streams. I guess I might as well continue with the rest of the YouTube stuff, right? So like, subscribe, click the notification bell. There's links in the description. I will also mention that this is my second channel because as of now, I still don't have access to my original channel. If you're curious about that, there's a link to a video that explains everything in the description as well. So I would also encourage everybody to watch videos from my original channel because that one is in fact monetized, and I am unable to monetize this one. Well, it's to do with YouTube rules and a whole mess of stuff. In any case, so there's the woe of me, and then there's the YouTube business all taken care of, I suppose, right? Is there anything else? Oh, stay tuned till the end of the video. I'm going to do the secret word game again. So if you hear the secret word and you put it in a comment, I'll pin your comment. That's basically the gist of it. Yeah, I guess that's it. So without further ado, let's go in and play the game. So I don't know exactly what I'm going to be talking about, to be truthful, because usually in game videos I talk about what I'm doing in the game, but this is I play untimed games, right? Because I don't want to have the pressure. And so there's really no strategy or anything, right? You just find places where you can match at least three things in a row, and they fall and make room for new things, and once in a while you get these nice chain reactions happening, which I find very pleasing because of all the jiggly gemstone noises. And I'm not sure what should I talk about today. It's got to be something I can come up with to babble about. I mean, it just seems silly to go, here, I'm going to move the blue one, there, I'm going to move this sort of, what color is that? Sort of a dark magenta, maybe. But, yeah, I mean, I don't think this exists anywhere other than Linux, because, well, it's like the K thing, right? That's most of that stuff is Linux. When it's like Kdiamonds, Kmines, those types of things. So I don't know if you don't use Linux. I don't know if you can find a version of this to play or not. But now that I'm sitting here and playing the game, I'm finding it like, well, what am I going to talk about? I mean, I suppose I could just do some, talk about holidays. I haven't really done much for the holidays. I stayed home. Didn't really go anywhere. Of course, if you've been to the live streams, you already know that. So what, is there any tales of personal history or something I might tell today? Yeah, now see, my brain is blank. So I guess I'll just, I don't know, play the game and maybe something will come to mind that I can babble about. otherwise it'll just be me sitting here for some period of time recording this, and although I don't think most of the time that people are all that concerned about what I'm actually talking about, especially if they're here for like insomnia relief or relaxation or something. I think it's mostly about tone of voice and cadence and that kind of thing. I mean, it's that way for me as well. I, also consume ASMR as well as make it. I mean, in truth, that's why I make it. 'Cause I used to just be sort of an audience member for ASMR, and back in, I guess it was 2012, I decided to start making ASMR. In part, I don't know, I guess it's worth sharing. I'm an alcoholic. I don't drink, haven't drank since 2012. That's why I bring it up, is that I gave up booze some months before I started the channel, and I needed stuff to do with myself, to just take up the time that I would have otherwise spent, not being a healthy human. But there was also a part of it is because I had, personally, I got a lot of enjoyment, and in some ways relief, right? Because there is a relaxation component that's good for like de-stressing and all of that kind of thing that goes with ASMR. So I wanted to, I suppose the phrase is give back, right? Because I'd gotten so much benefit from ASMR that I wanted to make ASMR. And I had been told by people in the past that they found that the timbre of my voice was pleasing. I used to, in a previous life, I played in bands. Not anything you would have heard of, nothing. I was never able to quit the day job, so to speak. And in a couple of those bands I did do singing, although I'm not really a singer, because I've never applied, the discipline. So I mostly just sang things that I wrote. So, it worked out okay, right? I mean, I think people tend to write stuff that suits their own voice a lot of times. At least I do. Or did, I guess I should say. But I bring that up because people, it was clear that I wasn't really a singer, as in, like Robert Plant's a singer, right? Or David Sylvian's a singer, or, you know what I mean? For me, it's just, it worked because my voice sounded good. I guess that's a long way around just to say that. So I had kind of thought that maybe people might be inclined to listen to me, talk about stuff or say things or like that from the sound of my voice. And I was right. People do seem to like the sound of my voice. I'm often surprised that people actually like my whisper, because I don't. I mean, I don't really even like the sound of my voice in general. Well, it's not that I dislike the sound of my voice, it's just I hear it all the time, so I'm kind of sick to death of it, frankly. For me, whispers are really hit and miss. If somebody's whispering, it's either it works really well or it just doesn't work at all. And my voice, when I listen back for editing, when I'm whispering, I'm like, why does anybody listen to this? Whereas when I'm soft speaking, even though I don't get tingles out of my own voice or anything like that, but I do sometimes find it difficult to edit because the games and things I play are things that I find interesting, and but also the way I go about things, I try to make it as much like something I'd like as I can manage. And I don't always succeed in that, but that's what I'm going for. And so when I am doing at least what I think is a good job, I can like lose focus. You know, it's like, dude, pay attention. Stop zoning out on your own voice. So that does happen, but I don't really get tingles from my own voice. But it also depends on how long a day I've had, right? If it's taken me a really long time to record something and then I'm going to edit it and post it all in the same day, which I try not to do just because I'm trying to get a better workflow thing. My thinking is that I'd be able to do better output, you know what I mean? More stuff, more frequently, with maintaining, or at least maintaining, if not improving quality. Here at Bill Max Fox Packs 2, we aim to please. God, that jiggly noise is really something, isn't it? Oh, I just thought of something here. Oh, look at that. I'm going to check something really quick. Okay, never mind. I was just noticing in the meters that it was showing the sound as being in mono, and I didn't know if it was supposed to be in mono or... Because truthfully, I don't, when I play this, and I do like the noise, but I generally play it with sound coming out of my speakers, not my headset, and I hadn't ever really tried to pay attention to whether it was stereo, mono, or anything like that. It just never popped into my head to do so. Mostly because I'm zoning out on watching the crystal, or not the crystals, but the gems, the pictures of gemstones fall. There's just something about the way that the little rattly noise that goes along with the falling pictures. It's just very pleasing to me. So hopefully at least some of you will also find it pleasing. Is there anything else that's just worth babbling about? This is something, I don't know. I find that I prefer to try to make I like to make the combinations horizontally and lower in the board. This is just anecdotal, so I don't know if this really works that way in the game, but it seems to me that when I do that, I get more of the sort of chain reaction type things. Which I suppose, I don't know, does that make sense that if you get more of them if you're going across rather than up and down? It kind of intuitively seems to me that might be the case, but I'm not going to sit down and do the math. That was alright. Oh, here's one that's got a lot of these. So I don't know, is this supposed to be like diamonds and sapphires and rubies, and what would that be? I'm not sure. What's a brownish stone? Make sure I kind of have it go, not that way, man, over there. Oh, I guess on the channel I did do a thing which I hadn't really done before. I didn't even realize that there was a setting that you had to change, but on the community tab page on the channel, I have it set so that other people can make posts. So I thought that that was always, that you could always make posts, but I guess I was wrong. Either that or YouTube has changed that policy. guess I could do a plug for the live stream. You know, this, I started playing this just by myself for, well, clearly it's a solo game, you play it by yourself. But when I first started playing it, I hadn't even thought about it being anything that I would do for the channel. It was just, usually what I do is, a lot of times I'll do certain things. Wow, that was a long one, wasn't it? I'll do certain things kind of absent-mindedly. Well, specifically when I'm listening to music. I think in part that's down to missing LPs. Not so much that I'm a vinyl snob, because I'm not. If you like the sound of vinyl, like the sound of vinyl. I mean, in fact, I do like the sound of vinyl. It's okay, but yeah, I'm not one of those people that's like, vinyl, it's the the best and whatever. It's like, yeah, whatever. I mean, I guess a quick sort of tangential thing is, vinyl is nice if you like the sound of it, but the truth is, it is pretty lousy when it comes to things like frequency response and dynamic range. I mean, they have to purposely alter the low end, or else the needle will hop out of the groove. But anyway, what I do miss is, well, I guess it's a nostalgia thing for me, in that, when I first started listening to music, as a young person, vinyl was, if not, it was either vinyl at the radio or tapes, and we would always make, mixtapes for our friends and that kind of thing. I mean, I guess people could still do that with, digital files, but okay. What was I talking about? Vinyl. Oh, that was it. Yeah, vinyl. Sorry, I got interrupted there, so now I have to refine my train of thought. When other stuff happens in the world and it leaks into me trying to make ASMR. So it was not only that that's what I started out listening to music on, but part of it is also I liked LPs because they gave you something to kind of have in your hands while you were listening to the music. Like you could read the lyrics as the song went along, and a lot of times the artwork kind of went with the music in a way, I'm thinking of the album cover for Fragile by Yes. That's a really good one to sort of enjoy while you're also listening to the music. Pink Floyd albums are good for that too. A lot of bands made really good album covers now that I think about it. And even if they didn't make, super exciting, badass album covers, sometimes it was just the lyrics were enough to kind of make it worth having in your hand, as it were. In any case, so back to what my point was about with this sort of thing. So I find that since I mostly stream music nowadays, actually it's not even mostly I stream music nowadays, I don't even have any sort of disc player, like a CD player, nor do I have a turntable or any of that. So my only real means of listening to music at this point in time is to stream it. So sometimes I'll put on, one of those fractal zooms on YouTube, kind of have that going on while I'm listening to music, depending on the kind of music. Sometimes I'll just sort of zone out and, just click on things on the web, especially lately. I don't know how many of you have, if you've been on the live stream, you'll know. I don't know how much I talk about it in regular videos. I guess I don't. But I've taken up gardening, and I really enjoy it. The motivation for it was that our front yard started looking really crummy, and nobody else was doing anything about it in the household. And I guess it's there's kind of a separation of household here, I suppose. I mean, I live down here and I'm mostly isolated. I mean, the other people that live upstairs are family members, but because it's my dad's house, and he let me sort of take over the garage and take out the back wall of the garage for the storage sort of basement area, and I've kind of turned the whole thing into my live work studio space kind of a thing. So gardening. Gardening. I've taken up gardening. And so what was I going to talk about gardening for? Oh, because I was zoning out because of album covers and that kind of thing. Anyway, so that's relevant because sometimes I'll just find like flower stuff to look at. You know, kind of go, ooh, that's a good idea for the garden, you know, that kind of thing. And sometimes it's even kind of mindless, right? I'm just kind of going, kind of zoning out, going, ooh, pretty flowers. But one of the things I do is play these games. Like Mastermind. I play Mastermind a lot while I'm listening to music. Actually, truthfully, there's times I play Mastermind while I'm watching stuff like TV shows. Because I find, if I stick to the latest thing I'm using for the Mastermind is a website called Mastermind Online. And it's different from the Codebreaker that I used to play in that you can, the Codebreaker was only 8 colors and 5 spaces in the puzzle, whereas this one is 8 colors, but you can either have 4, 6, or 8 spaces in the puzzle. And so you can, kind of tinker with the difficulty level, so to speak. So, but if I keep it no duplicates and only 4 spaces, I can kind of play that without paying too much attention. I mean, if I do get too distracted, obviously I'll make silly mistakes, but for the most part I can do okay. And I also like to play those, if any of you play I can never remember the guy's name. It's this guy that sort of curated this collection of small games. I think that's even what he calls them or something, but portable, I think, is the word he uses, portable. And somebody in the audience is going to know what I mean. But I'll sometimes also play those sort of mindlessly while I'm watching TV. One that's, it's not Drench, but there's an online version called Drench that's it's kind of like filling up the, you're given a big field of rectangular field to play in, and there's all these. It's a grid, and each square of the grid is a different color kind of thing, and you're supposed to fill the grid with a single color by clicking on things, and it fills in by filling in all of the contiguous squares from where. Well, I don't know. I just realize I'm not explaining it very well, so perhaps you should just go find it. But that kind of stuff is silly to play, and I find it enjoyable to just sort of zone out while I'm doing something else, and I can kind of absent-mindedly play it in the background kind of thing. Oh, we got diamonds, rubies, emeralds, and what is this? Is topaz kind of a color like that? I can't remember what color gemstones are, except for the, diamond, ruby, emerald, sapphire thing. I think garnet is red, right? pearls are white. Although I have to admit, I find it odd that those get called gemstones by anybody, because it's, you know, they're the result of, you know, oysters or clams or, you know, such things. Whereas I tend to think of gemstones as being things that are created. Oops, let's do it this way. You know, via pressure, right? I mean, carbon under tremendous pressure for a really long time, and then you get diamonds, right? Whereas if I'm pretty sure pearls are it's the a result of the critter getting irritated, right? And the pearl forms around whatever the irritant is and sort of makes it smooth, so it's no longer an irritant. And I'm trying to think of where. I remember as a kid being in a couple of different places where that you could. There were like these aquariums that were like huge, like swimming pools. Well, maybe not swimming pool size, but and there would be people would dive into them to retrieve pearls, I guess. And it was like sort of an attraction of sorts, and I can't remember where it was, because it wasn't anything that I did with any regularity of my own doing. It was I was a younger person, like a kid, and the only memory I really have of it is I was with my grandparents, and we were in San Diego. I think we were in San Diego. I mean, I was with my grandparents, so we didn't really do much traveling with our grandparents, so I'm assuming that it would have been in San Diego. Either that or this is a totally fictitious memory that my brain has just come up with. Oh, I don't know if I've ever told you guys about this, but this is a story about memory and how humans and our memories should not be trusted. So when I was in high school, for my sophomore year, actually I guess my sophomore and junior year, we went down, we lived here in the San Francisco Bay Area from the time I was about 2 until my sophomore and junior year. We went to San Diego because my parents are from San Diego. And my maternal grandfather died, and my mom wanted to go down at least for a while so that she could be with her mom. So we moved down there for, well, a couple of years anyway. And while I was down there, or actually while we were down there, we didn't sell our house. We, you know, kept it, and then my parents rented it out. And so we, you know, just came back to our own house, you know, when we moved back. But one summer, I guess it would be the summer between those 2 school years, there was one set of tenants was moving out, and a different tenants were going to be moving in, and there needed to be some like cleaning and making sure carpets were and all that stuff were clean, and maybe a little bit of, you know, painting to make sure it all looked nice and all that kind of thing. Anyway, so I'm not even sure how it got instigated, but it ended up being that my friends and I did all of the cleaning work for my parents, and in return we got to stay in the house, and more or less unsupervised. I mean, we're sort of supervised by our neighbors, but the one guy that was our neighbor, he was a pretty lax guy. And as long as we weren't, you know, being too boisterous or, you know, breaking anything, I don't think he would have said anything to my parents about anything. Any case, so while I was staying there, or staying here with my friends, while my, you know, parents were still in San Diego, one day when we had been cleaning, but we didn't, it wasn't like a full-time job, right? I mean, there was a lot of free time. And so we were goofing around, and I don't remember what started it, but as just sort of a prank, we locked one of the guys out. And there was a window that was up a little ways because we live on a hill for our dining room, and that window was open. And so he went to run to the dining room window to jump up and grab hold of the ledge and then, hoist himself up that way to get into the house, And he did, and then he also reached over to grab the window. And our windows at the time were these windows, they're crank windows. And so I started to wind on the crank to shut the window to keep him out still, right? And he grabbed onto the window while I was cranking the window. And anyway, the stress of it broke the pane of glass. And it was like, yikes. And it made a big mess, and so we had to go sweep up the glass. Luckily, he didn't get cut or anything like that, but, it did make a big mess, and then now there was a broken pane of glass. And I didn't have enough money left to go just secretly buy a pane of glass without my parents knowing about it. Anyway, so I called my parents to tell them that the window had been broken, right? But we came up with this story in that what was happening is a couple of us were mopping in the dining room where the window was, and we ended up trying to avoid each other, and so I swung the mop around haphazardly while trying to avoid my buddy, and the handle of the mop went into the window, and we accidentally broke the window. And that seemed like a good enough tale to tell my parents, and they said, okay, fine, you accidentally broke a glass, that's fine. So they called the guy next door, the lax neighbor I was telling you about, and said, hey, could you loan some money to our kid so he could go get this pane of glass and install it in the window. And first off, he was sort of shocked that we could replace the pane of glass on our own, which I'd actually done that kind of thing a bunch because my grandparents owned income properties that were rentals, and I'd been a bunch of times with my grandfather to go do exactly that kind of thing at the rentals. Anyway, so we got the money, we replaced the glass, we put it in, put the goopy putty stuff around it, and all was good in the world. And my parents never thought anything about it. I never thought anything about it. It was just, broke a window, got fixed, who cares? Okay, so many years later, I had moved back to San Diego, and at this point in time was married. So I'm in my early, mid-20s kind of. And my wife and I, who's now my ex-wife, but then my wife, we were up visiting, and we were actually staying with my parents. But I was out with some friends of mine that so there was actually several friends, but I guess two of them were there for that period of time when we were cleaning the house and all that. And we were talking about something, and somehow that summer came up about them spending I don't remember how much it was, just a couple of weeks, maybe just a week, I don't remember. Whatever that period of time was, it was kind of being nostalgic. Oh, remember that time when ... kind of thing. And then so I said, oh yeah, and remember when we were doing the thing, and I accidentally broke the window with the mop handle, and then we had to get the guy next door to front me the money. So I go, man, that was a pain in the butt, blah blah blah. And all of a sudden they are all looking at me like I was nuts, and I was like, what? They're like, dude, what are you talking about? And I'm like, what? And they're all like, dude, that's the lie we told your mom. Remember, Ian was outside and we were locking him out, and blah, 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 blah. And all of a sudden it was like this, like the scales fell from my eyes kind of thing, right? And then it's just like, like breaking glass window kind of thing happening, like, what the hell? And I had so concretely put that lie in my head to make sure that if it ever came up, right, that I wouldn't screw up and, you know, get us in trouble or anything like that, that I actually had a memory of me putting the handle of the mop through the glass. I mean, actually visually seeing it happen and hearing the sound, and that the glass being, you know, on the floor and then on the outside, and like this total vivid memory of, you know, of the event. And it was a total bullshit. It was absolute crock. So there you go, gang. Be wary of trusting your memory. Now that I've said that, I kind of have a memory that I think I might have told that before. But, you know, again, I'm going to have to make sure I check the levels on that. I may have to separate that little section out and mix it down for, I don't know how loud my laughing was. Hopefully it wasn't too boisterous. Okay, how long have I been doing this? Okay, so I guess about a half hour. Sometimes it's hard for me to gauge because sometimes, like the OBS, which is the software I use for doing the screen capture type stuff and live streaming and all that, it's a really good piece of software, to be honest. But it has a feature where, like, you can pause it, like, you know, so, like if a big truck's running down the road or whatever, and it's like, okay, I have to just, it's going to be a second before I get back to recording kind of thing, so I'll hit the pause thing. But sometimes when it's, I can tell that whatever the noise is, you know, being insane or whatever, that I'll actually just hit the stop recording and then restart it, and so I've already done that. I usually end up doing that once or twice in the game videos for, well, I think it's because, I don't know, I was just going to say maybe it's the time of day of recording, but that's not it, because I don't always record them at the same time. I suppose I most frequently record them weekday mornings. I'm trying to get into the habit of recording a few videos kind of back-to-back-ish. I mean, I can't always do a lot of back-to-back because of my back. I think many of you will know that I have degenerative discs, so I have to be careful with my back. And sometimes I stop because of my back. But anyway, I guess that's the whole point, right? Is that sometimes I stop the thing and I have to kind of keep track of what I'm doing, because it tells me how much time I've been recording. And it says just short of 20 minutes, but I know I've stopped this once. So, once? Did I stop it more than once? Yeah, I don't remember. But yeah. But yeah, trash trucks going by, street sweeper going by, or any kind of big truck that's doing that beep, beep, beep. So what am I going to do? Oh, I guess I could talk about what I do schedule, right? So Mondays, I think, right, they're going to be what they are now. It's going to be games, right? So probably like something along the lines of Mind Test Monday, followed by a Mind Sweeper Monday, followed by a Mind Test Monday, followed by an Enigma Monday, followed by, you know, like, and just kind of do that cycle over and over again. And I don't know, I'll probably relent and occasionally throw in a mastermind here and there. I'll probably also throw in once in a blue moon a geography one, because those kind of do well. actually that's not true. They do well, but I have to be careful because if I do them too frequently, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't think that's a show that anybody wants to watch all the time. So I think if I do it like once every couple of months, that people will go, oh, you did another geography one, you know, that kind of thing. And you know, I haven't really been playing the geography game lately. I think mostly because I got good at it, you know what I mean? And it is largely sort of a memory thing, isn't it? So I think I'll leave it be for a while, and then I'll try to go back to it and see, you know, how well everything's stuck. And I haven't used Anki in who knows how long. I haven't used Anki since, I don't think I've used it since the computer catastrophe that cost me the access to the channel, the original channel. Yeah, so anyway, so I have not been doing the hardcore geography thing for quite a while now. Okay, I'm trying to think now what I can do. Maybe I could try to come up with stuff that would be plugging the live stream. Like, why should you guys come watch my live stream? I mean, mostly it's whatever. I do a fair amount of just babbling about stuff because people will ask me questions, and you know, it's like, well, just like questions that people would be curious about stuff. So that's part of it. I also will play some games. Usually it's, well, Mastermind. I also play Octortle, which is like Wordle, but there's 8 of them at a time. And what else do I play there? I have played a couple of things at request, right? Like I did the Oregon Trail a couple of times, although I don't know if I'll do that one anymore. I don't think it's conducive to the live stream sort of gameplay. At least for me, it just seems kind of eh. So I don't know that I'll do that anymore for Oregon Trail. Oh, I did play an escape room game called Trace. Okay, that time it was my sister calling me. My dad was calling me using this thing called Jammy, which is a piece of software I found. I don't know if, actually I think there probably is versions for other OSs other than Linux, but I found it in the repository for Pop! OS. Pop! OS is the operating system I use. And it's a communication bit of software that allows for, you know, voice and video calls, but it allows us to do it peer-to-peer, so that, like, so basically, so my dad and I can use our computers like intercoms, essentially, right? You know what I mean? So if, like, he needs to get a hold of me, because it's, well, we don't have a ginormous house or anything like that, but it's the upstairs, downstairs type thing. And so if my dad doesn't have to walk all the way, you know, it's better for him. Also, I find that, you know, I'm just a lazy guy, so I'd rather, if it's just like a quick question we're going to ask each other, or, you know, hey, did you see this thing, or, you know, whatever. It's a pretty convenient thing. So anyways, my dad called me on that because I forgot to turn it off, and then my sister called me on my phone because I forgot to turn that off too. Yikes, what a day, huh? Anyway, okay. So I know I was talking about videos I'm making. So what's coming up? Oh, I talked about Trace already, right? That's the escape room game. I haven't really played escape room games until this. I mean, it's not the very first one I played, but they never really hit me. You know what I mean? I want to keep playing these types of things. You know what I mean? Until this one, I really liked it. And I've also played a couple of others from the same company. And if there's enough interest, or if after I make it, I feel like it was, worth doing, I might make more of those that are from, what are they called? It's Color something. That's the name of the company that makes them. Yeah, it'd be better if I could remember their name, wouldn't it? So I might make, I guess the upshot is I might make more of that type of video, depending on how making the first one goes. I mean, if I think it sucks making it, or if nobody else is really going to watch it, that kind of thing, then I might not make any more. But if it goes well, or if I really dig it, well, I guess that's part of going well, isn't it? So that's a possibility of stuff. Oh, did I mention? I think, yes, I did mention, but I don't know if I really did much more other than mention it, again, because it's probably down to interruptions and the like. The community page thing. That's a good place for people to, because people have suggested doing another FAQ. There is one on my first channel if you're curious about just general questions about Bill. A lot of that basic questions will get answered there. But I would be amenable to making another one depending on the kinds of questions people came up with. But I think that's a good place to put those types of questions. It would be at the community tab thing on the channel. But I also, if you want to suggest a type of video or something like that, I don't, as of now, really do requests. Not that I'm, dead set against it. It's just I'm a bit of a curmudgeon, and I like making what I like making. But by all means, make a request. Like I said, it's not that I'm 100% never going to take requests or anything. It's just I'm not likely to do it. So. But if you're okay with the fact that it's just a possibility, then go ahead and make requests. I'm more apt to do stuff that would be like variation stuff, right? Like if somebody found another one of these, match 3 games where stuff falls and it makes a good noise, but it's just a different noise than gem falling. I might be interested in that. I think, yeah. Oh, okay, so I'm also going to be doing, I keep saying a lot. I will be doing the physical games, like backgammon and solitaire. That word just left my brain for a second. And because I like making those, they're not although, I think they're doing better on this channel than they used to on the original channel. I'm not sure what that's about, but, maybe it was a time thing, people just got used to them, or maybe, I don't know. Or maybe it was just a fluke, I'm not sure, or maybe I'm remembering wrong. But I do like making those, and there are people who do like them, so I'll probably do, I think I try and do maybe one of those a month or something like that, I don't know. And along with that, I think I'd like to try to make like a trigger video a month, like maybe a crinkle video or a tapping video or because if I'm doing Mondays as gaming type things, then that's really only like 4 other videos a month, isn't it? And I might do, a couple of extra things here and there. But usually it's going to be Mondays and Thursdays are release days. I came up with that on the old channel. It just seemed to be, with what tinkering casual, and what, my viewership's appetite for, new material. I mean, I suppose. Oh, the other thing I keep saying I'm going to do, and I just keep not getting around to doing it, I don't know, maybe I have a mental block about it or something, is shorts. Because I have done a couple of shorts here and there, and they do seem to do well, but more importantly, they do seem to affect overall views. So I think they do a good job of functioning like a commercial, right? Hey, come watch this channel, right? So I've been trying to do them with a sense of humor, I don't know that I always succeed. I find that I have, a lot of times I don't get humor. Not that I don't have a sense of humor, I do, but it is frequently at odds with everybody else's. And there's a lot of more often what happens is I can't tell when other people have told a joke, especially if it's not like a setup joke, like, hey, let me tell you a joke kind of thing. Like if they're just doing a thing and then they'll say a thing and I'll be like, what, blah, 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 and they'll go, dude, that was a joke, what's your problem? That happens to me a lot. I don't know, maybe it's part of my neurological makeup or something, I don't know. Some of you will know if you've watched the live streams. I try to be fairly open about such things, but I was diagnosed with as bipolar, although it's, admittedly very mild as compared to what I've observed in other people, frankly. But nonetheless, my life is improved now that I'm on medication. Kind of makes me wish I'd been diagnosed much earlier, but, it doesn't kind of. It makes me wish I'd been diagnosed much earlier. Because I'm 60 now, and the diagnosis was just a few years ago, since I've lived here, so it's been since 2019. So probably 2020, somewhere around in there. Actually probably 2020 or 2021. But sometimes I wonder if my weird off or being out of sync with people's sense of humor and stuff like that might be down. I mean, I don't know. To be honest, I'm fairly ignorant about all of the things that might be, a result of the weird, just cyclical, whatever it is that my brain does. Actually, I can't call it cyclical, I don't think, because it's not regular, you know what I mean? It's not like anything that's really predictable in any manner, at least not that I can. Wait, how long is this getting to be now? Oh, right, I already stopped it. So now I don't know how many times I've stopped this. Once for actually I stopped it at least once before my dad called, and I stopped it for him, and then I stopped it for my sister, so this is probably going to be, well, from my perspective is going to be, but from your perspective has already been quite choppy as far as editing and probably continuity for, what was Bill talking about? So between interruptions and my absent-mindedness, I don't know, maybe this will be a challenging video to watch. So I don't know, maybe I should just, you know what I'm going to do? I think I am going to wind this down now. I think I've been doing it long enough that it'll make a decent length for a video. And if not, I guess I'll just, I guess what I'll do is I'll not put all the lights and stuff away, and I'll just stop it and edit it, leaving everything kind of half set up, which I do actually. It's sometimes just to facilitate a decent workflow. But that way, if it isn't enough, like it needs to be at least a half an hour. You know what I mean? I prefer it was like more like 45 minutes or an hour or something like that. But if it doesn't get to at least a half an hour, I'll restart it and play it some more. Pop, pop, pop. But anyway, so winding down, I want to come up with a secret word for today's video. I don't remember what I did last time. See, there's the thing. I keep forgetting what I've already used. Because a couple of times anyway, I've just like looked around the room and I saw an object. Like one time it was tape recorder, but I wasn't looking at a tape recorder. I was looking at this little cheap Fostex portable recorder. It's a digital thing, but it functions, like a tape recorder used to. So I think, that's how I came up with the tape recorder being the secret phrase, I guess it would have been. And there's a beautiful thing about language, right? It is what it is in the moment of communication. So the thing that I think people need to be reminded is that dictionaries don't give you the correct definition of words. They give you usage. How people actually use the words. Because words are, their effectiveness is in the moment of communication, isn't it? So feel free to use words however you want. Now the downside, like for example, I could say, and I could say that means, an ice cream cone. But if I go, and everybody else is looking at me going, what the hell is he talking about? And nobody else knows that I'm using that to mean ice cream cone, then it's a pretty poor tool of communication in that moment, isn't it? Because of tape recorder. See, I do that to myself all the time. Go off on these weird tangents and forget what the hell I'm talking about. So what am I going to do for... Oh, you know what? Ice cream cone. Today's secret phrase is ice cream cone. See? Just by being a goofy dude, I came up with a secret phrase. So today's secret phrase is ice cream cone. So if you are the first person to put ice cream cone in a comment, I will pin your comment. And there you go. Mostly I think it's an amusing thing to do, but it also serves the purpose of trying to encourage people to watch the whole video, because that improves the watch time, which makes the YouTube algorithm happy, and et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so today's secret word or phrase is ice cream cone. Remember that there are live streams as of January of 2026 anyway. Currently they are happening every Saturday night, 8 p.m. California time. I don't remember if I even finished talking about them before as well, but we do, game planning. I talk about stuff, answer questions. And I do triggers, because I did not say that earlier, did I? I'll do, some triggers have yet to make it into a video. At least I don't think they've made it. I don't think I've done the chopstick and jar yet. So if I'm saying chopstick and jar and you're going, what the hell are you talking about, Bill? Then that means either I haven't put it in, or you haven't seen it. But I use a chopstick in a jar to make a really unusual noise that I quite enjoy, and it has turned out to be, it has turned out to be kind of popular, at least in the live streams. And it's 8 p.m. till typical. I go for 2 hours and 20 minutes. I take a break every 20 minutes. because of my back. Well, right now my back's starting to bug me a little bit, but the truth is, this is early enough in the day that I can go sit on my recliner and it'll be fine, you know what I mean? But on Saturday nights, it's usually good. Well, it's Saturday night, so it's like the end of my day. I tend to get up, usually before 6, and so I'm usually in bed by usually 10:30, but sometimes I'm up as late as 11. But so not just my back, but my whole 60-year-old body is saying, dude, you need to go do something other than be awake. In any case, so yeah, I guess that pretty much describes the live stream stuff. Is there anything I want to talk about before I bail on what's coming up for the channel? I haven't mentioned NNSBB stuff, mostly just because all the things that I have in my mind I'd like to make, I haven't worked out how I'm going to make them yet, because I tend to get ambitious with the NNSBB stuff. There's a couple of show and tells I think I'm going to make. So I was going to talk about them, but I think I won't, because I have this bad habit of talking about stuff, and then I change my mind, and then people are like, hey, whatever happened to? And I'll go, yeah, I'm not going to make that. And I hate, having people be disappointed. Just, I'd rather be upfront so that right off the bat. Okay, I'm procrastinating ending just because I'm